Hello everybody, this is Harbinger again. I'm back with another video here to explain how I went about building the Minecraft within Minecraft animation that I hopefully posted a couple of days ago. This video is actually being done while I'm in the process of building it, so I haven't finished it and don't know exactly how well it's going to work out, but I think I've got it planned pretty well, so we'll see how it goes. You may recognize this area. It's where I did the dot matrix display that counted from A to Z. What I did was expand upon that dot matrix display and took it from being 7 high and 5 wide to 10 by 10, giving me a workable area of basically 100 pixels. You don't need to use all 100 pixels, thankfully, or the decoders and the drivers would end up being massive. Now that it's getting to be daylight, you're not going to be able to see the torches lit, but as you can see, most of the torches are off. What I did to do the initial layout for this was just take a piece of quadro paper and plot out a couple of 10 by 10 squares, put X's put X's where there would be lit torches for each frame, and then I ended up with 5 frames and made a 6th frame that was a composite of all the pixels that I would need for those other 5 frames. So ended up that the actual lit portion spread through all of them is only going to end up requiring 41 out of the 60 pixels, or out of the 100 pixels to be lit. So we only ended up needing 41 outputs from the driver to handle everything on the screen. Now I'll get down here real quick and show you what I've done so far. Been working on getting all the pixels on the back of the display wired down here to these inputs. There's going to be 21 of the inputs on the bottom. 20 inputs on the bottom, 21 up top, and then I just built another platform here halfway through the display so that I could set this up in 2 layers and have a nice workable area up there. With all of this wired together, you can't see exactly what I've done, but you'll be able to get a better look at it when I get up top. As you can see down here, there are several extra inverters. Those are intentional. What I'm going to try to do, and again, not having finished it, I'm not sure how well it's going to work. I'm going to try to add extra inverters in some places to make up for the fact that some of these pixels are going to have longer runs to be controlled than others. The goal is to have every pixel go through the same number of inverters by the end of it, so that when a new frame is updated on the screen, all the torches light at once instead of it lighting little by little, which will kind of ruin the aesthetics of having it animated. We get up to the top of this platform real quick and get a better look. This is the back without the wiring. What I did was, where the inputs for the pixels that I'm actually going to be using are at, that's where the stone is. I did the same thing down below. You can see that there's a bottom row there embedded in the dirt. The ones that are not going to be used, I just did this. I've got, that would be a pixel on that block right there, another pixel on that block right there. Neither of those neither of those pixels are going to be used throughout the project, so I just have a line of redstone going across the top, torch over here to keep those in the constant off position. That way I don't have to worry about wiring a bunch of things and forcing them to be off when they are not going to be necessary. Same thing with the top row up there. I'm not going to need anything on the top. Most of the dense part of the pixels are down there in that corner, which you can't see from up here. But that's how I've gotten started. Next thing I'll be doing, of course, is wiring all of these down to rows of input on the ground here, like I did with the bottom half, And I'll do the same thing down there. Ignore that off in the distance. That's the part of the my last project that I haven't chopped down. It's irrelevant. And then I'll be doing the same thing as I did down here and adding extra inverters to try to compensate for the delay and make everything update at once. As you can see, I have the top of the display wired, so we've got all these inputs back here, 21 on the top, 20 on the bottom, because I ended up with 41 pixels that will actually need to change throughout the course of things. What I'm doing right now, where I'm standing here, is where the first of the lines for the display driver is going to end up being. As you can see, I've got a couple of repeaters stacked up there. What I'm going to try to do, since there end up being two sets of repeaters here to propagate the signal for the driver all the way to the end, I'm going to add some extra repeaters there, two of them there, one in the middle, and I won't need any on the end. The goal is to make it so that once the driver for each individual frame receives an input, there is the exact same number of inverters in between that input and each pixel. Otherwise, what we'd end up with would be the first third of the screen updating before the middle, which would update before the end. There'd be a tick in between each of them. Hoping, again, until I'm done, I won't know if it works perfectly or not, hoping that by making sure there is an equal number of inverters, that everything will update at the same time. Not entirely necessary, but if I'm trying to make an animation, part of what's going to make it actually look good rather than look like crap is to have it update as smoothly as possible. So I have the inverter field done here. All of these extra inverters on the bottom and here on the top seem to have accomplished what I'm after. Now, once the input is sent here to the driver, all of the pixels update pretty much at the exact same time. It's kind of depends on what my computer wants to do. They do actually update at the same time. Every now and again, it doesn't quite look like they do, but they do. Why is this torch on? Alright, let me fix this real quick. There we go. I'm going to wait for it to get dark and I will show you a view from the front of what this accomplished. Alright, now just to show you, I have every pixel currently wired to go on, and this switch controls the driver. So the way I have it now, with all the repeaters synced up, pretty much everything updates instantly. If I didn't have them wired that way, with all the extra repeaters, what you'd see would be part of it going on before the rest. That is the smoothest it's ever going to update. So, well, from here on I actually have the project completed. Originally I wanted to break down this video into a couple more intermediate steps, but kind of got on a roll and spent about 6 straight hours finishing it from the last point of progress that I had in the video. And by the time that was done, and while that was going on, I was pretty tired and in no state to really give a detailed explanation of what's going on. But this right here is the first segment of the display driver that we were looking at just a moment ago. Now, instead of having every pixel wired, it just has the pixels wired that will need to be on for the first frame. And I have some other videos that go into a little more detail on exactly how that works, but quick explanation is that over each input line for the individual pixels on the display, there is a torch for the required pixel for that frame. That way, when signal comes in here, disables the redstone on that line right there, the torches on the side can light up, and they provide input to the individual pixels. Same thing on the top as it is here on the bottom, and I just have a spirally staircase of redstone going up to carry the signal onto the next line. Now, before somebody decides to say something in the comments, yes, I could have used stacked torches here to carry the signal up without having to make that spiral. But again, that would have ended up putting a bunch of extra inverters in between the bottom and the top, which would have delayed the top half's display on the screen, which is the whole point that we're trying to avoid. Then we just have 5 sets of these. Ended up having to space frame 4 and frame 5 out a little bit because I had to throw an inverter in there again. So there will be a negligible amount of extra delay between when frame 4 updates and when frame 5 updates, but when it's all wired into the timer, you can't really notice. But so that is all of the display driver, and then what we have is the decoder, which compared to my other decoders is very, very small and simple. Since we're only dealing with 5 frames, we can get away with just having a 3-bit decoder, since it only really needs to keep track of numbers 0 through 5. Actually 0 through 4, 1 through 5. However we want to look at it. I'm actually still a little bit asleep right now. So that's nice and simple. Again, that's detailed more in another video. Just a binary decoder like the rest of the ones I've built. And then all of this from here to here is just wiring together all the inputs, all five of the bit 1s to all 5 of the bit 3s, etc., etc. And then stacked up right here, we have our 3 toggle flip-flops that are wired together that give us our 3-bit binary counter, and inputs just wired together, output of one sent to the input of the next, and the output is spliced out to go into the decoder. Then over here we have, not even sure how many torches are in this timer. I'm not going to count them. I just built one as big as I could cram in right here. But we have the timer that actually automatically cycles through the frames, and then we have this long line of redstone right here, which goes all the way back here to the display platform. And then we have our switch, which will break the input, the forced input on that block of the counter, and allow everything to cycle. Right, so that was it. Compared to some of my other projects, this one was actually a lot simpler to get done than I expected it would be. Not sure what the future of this is. I've got a couple of different options. I kind of want to make a longer animation that goes, more than just 5 frames. I may forego actually doing my own animation and wire this display to actually incorporate all 100 pixels and then leave it at that. Kind of depends on the community's interest. I can always do that later. The benefit to doing that would be that I could just put things up for download with a detailed explanation of how to use the system, and with every pixel available, we can have some more proficient pixel artists get a hold of things and try making their own animations. But I'll post that question on Reddit, see what you guys want me to do. Leave your opinions here in the comments on YouTube. If there are enough people that are interested in trying to make things like this, I'll try to make a nice user editable one with an explanation on how to go about using it, and we'll put that up for download and see what everybody else in the community can do. But for now, we'll get this up online. I'll raise that question on Reddit, and I'll wait a few days to see what the responses are before I decide what I want to do next. Hope you were able to follow along, and as always, thank you for watching.